Council. It's our regular meeting, Tuesday, July 9th, 7:01. Thank you. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Lori Bourgeau. Here we got Kelsey Cook.
Here.
Maureen Homa.
Yes.
Allison Kemp. Here. Jacob Nicosia.
Here.
Yes.
We're going to call or text me order for the meeting, didn't think it was going to be able to.
Oh, sorry.
I'll make a motion to excuse Lori Rochelle from the regular meeting of July.
Second?
Motion made by Helmut, seconded by Nicosia. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
If there's no changes, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support. Motion made by Helmut, seconded by Kemp. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Motion carries. Number 5, presentations, we have none. Number 6, public hearings. I'll move to open the public hearing for ordinance number 423, amendment to chapter 70, utilities. This is for the sewage disposal system, chapter 70, etc. And article 3, water supply system rates by meter size, chapter 70 as well.
Support?
Motion made by Cook, seconded by Helmut. Does that require a roll call vote?
Yeah, I would do.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Your roll call, please.
Bourgeau is absent. Cook.
Yes.
Homa.
Yes.
Kemp. Yeah. Nicosia.
Yes.
That's at 7:03. Would anyone like to address council under this public hearing regarding increases to the water and sewer meter rate, base rates?
I thought for sure that was later when I was here.
Guess not. Okay, seeing no one speaking up under this public hearing, I'll move to close the public hearing at 7:04.
Support?
Motion made by Cook, seconded by Helmut. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Cook.
Yes.
Homa.
Yes.
Kemp. Yes. Nicosia.
Yes.
Motion passes. The hearing is closed. Next, item 7 is call to the public. This is the public's opportunity to speak to the council about anything on or off the agenda. If you don't mind stepping up to the podium and stating your name and address, if you don't mind, and take it from there. Anyone like to speak under public comment today?
Guess I don't need my water and my phone. You can't put your phone down. Oh, you must not be a 13-year-old girl.
For a moment, I can know. My name is Shannon Strong. I live at 26 Lincoln Street. I am here regarding the development of the Washington Square or Washington Triangle property. I believe the gentlemen that are trying to develop it are here as well. We were at the Planning Commission meeting 2 weeks ago, myself and a few of the residents on Lincoln Street and on Minnetonka Street. We are aware it is going to be developed. I want to make that clear right now. However, what they're planning, while it is smaller than what is allowed with the current zoning and current rules and regulations, we have concerns about, the traffic. I've already seen many traffic, almost accidents, and my husband barely missed an accident coming from the car wash, from the drive that is the Vets Drive that's going to be used as the drive for the whole established or whole community there. The other, I guess, issue is why do we have to put townhouses there? Why can't we just put a planned unit development? We went through this 4 years ago. We, fought it then. The Planning Commission actually didn't approve it. I mean, you guys voted it down 4 years ago, saying, let's leave it as a planned unit development. Now they want to come and do this again, so we're questioning why. Why can't we just put single-family homes there and call it good? The only thing that I can see is greed. They want to sell these things for $400,000. I don't think any houses around that whole field are worth $400,000. So why can't we just go with what, the surrounding neighborhood? There are townhouses there, they're all single-family homes. Why can't we just stay with single-family homes? Other than greed, I don't see any reason for it. And I guess that's my piece.
Thank you for your comment.
Jody Genzer. I'm on 184 Minnetonka. I also have been talking about Washington Triangle, reiterate some of Shannon's things, and also add when MDOT did the curb cuts for there was only a house. When they did the update on M24, just the veterinary was using it. Now it was approved, I believe there is a drive-through coffee shop going on that street, as well as a veterinarian, and you want to put 34 units back there, or 32. That would give you 64 cars, that's 2 per unit. That's excessive for that area, especially when that turn lane is not there. So just imagine yourself or one of your family members having to make a right or left-hand turn out of that road. You have to deal with the traffic coming north or south and also coming out of the car wash also. So you have 2 businesses with high traffic turnovers then. I'm just imagining another drainer situation. Drainer and 24. None of us like going through that intersection. I hold my breath sometimes. It's like watching everybody. I just don't want that again, because you're trying to turn, head south. You have to make sure who's coming out of the car wash, who's becoming, onto your road to go to the coffee shop. That's one of my main concerns. We know it's to be developed. Single family, I had one person tell me they could get 10 units back there. Someone told me they could get 7. If you put 4 cars per household, that's less than that. That's just my 2 cents. And where it is right now, yes, it's contingent, and you can make suggestions for them to change their plan, but right now they have 32, and once it's passed, how easily can we change that to something lower? Plus, it's townhouse units. We don't have any ranches around here. Wouldn't it be nice to have some ranch units for some of the older people to be able to stay in the village? Just some thoughts.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leah Scale and I live at 34 Lincoln Street. So you can see my house on this development plan that they've provided. I spoke at the last meeting as well and also attended their event at the public library where we learned more about the development. And I would say I'm not so opposed to the actual plan design here. I think it looks rather nice and it could be worse off. We could have high-rise apartments there or something. So I'm not like fully against the plan, but based on where my property line falls and my neighbor off of Mechanic Street there, I am very concerned about the emergency gravel road that's planned there. When I went out there and measured myself, I just really truly feel like there's not enough room there for that emergency drive space, and definitely not enough room to keep the 10-foot buffer space that they've planned for throughout the property line. So wanted to take this opportunity again to just address my concerns. I appreciate you guys hearing it very much. That I worked very hard to buy that home and I don't want anything encroaching really on my property. Another thing to add is it is 24 feet wide, and I just question if that is the true width needed for an emergency vehicle to get through that space there. I'm not sure if someone on the planning commission or the council could look into that, or on the development plan to confirm that, like a fire truck turning into that space, is that even possible there? I really, living right there, I question if that's possible. With the 10-foot buffer too, they mentioned leaving as much like landscape as possible, so trees and bushes and things, and that would eliminate everything between my property and the gravel drive. So just wanted to make those points. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is CJ Gosdor and I live at 851 Bay Point Drive. I think that for a lot of times change can be really hard. Cities adapt and grow, but if we try to keep everything wrapped up in a bubble and not change anything at all, what we end up with is a horrible housing crisis where people are graduating from college with degrees and unable to afford a home because there's just not enough of them. I think that this is a great opportunity to try to open Oxford up to more people. I think it'll increase our property values. I think that it will keep other houses from going up in price by taking what maybe could fit 7 homes and putting 32 homes in there so that other people can go move into single family homes that have kids and are trying to raise families. It'll increase the walkability of our downtown. They're very close. If we've got 32 units, maybe 2 people per unit, 64 customers just out at the doorstep. I think it'll give our residents more opportunities to form connections with one another. I think that it's environmentally friendly. Instead of spreading out single-family homes, which take up all this land, cut down a bunch of forest, we're putting it into this little tiny area, and the homes are more energy efficient because they're next to each other, and the area is more walkable, so people are less car dependent. And on top of this, it's like, this is going to be a tremendous tax revenue opportunity for our village. We're talking, I don't know, $70,000 maybe per year. Like, if we're going to try to build Oxford better, we're going to need these kinds of projects. And these gentlemen are helping push us forward to providing more services or lower taxes or whatever it might be that we decide to do with that extra revenue, so that we can improve the lives of the rest of our citizens. It's, in my opinion, it would be absolutely insane to take a look at all of these benefits that we're accruing and say, no, we don't want more walkability. We don't want more revenue. We want to be less environmentally friendly. We want worse business opportunities. And I hope that you can take my thoughts into consideration when making an ultimate decision to approve or deny this proposal. Thank you.
Thanks, CJ. Just a reminder, council will consider the request later in the agenda, but now is the time if anybody would like to speak to it. On the further down agenda item, it will just be council's motion and discussion. So is there anyone else who'd like to speak under public comment on this item or any other item? Okay. We will move on then to the consent agenda, item number 8. 8A, receive and file items.
I'll make a motion to receive and file consent agenda item A1 and 2 as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Helen, seconded by Kemp. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Motion carries. Thank you. 8B, approval items.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda item 8B, 1, 2, and 3, including the bills in the amount of $833,247.40.
Support.
Motion made by Helen, seconded by Nicosia. A roll call vote, please.
Helmut,
Yes.
Nicosia,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes. Motion carries. They are approved. Number 9, unfinished old business, our QD project update.
Yes, Madam President, so just today, I received an email from Brandon Farron from DTE Energy. I reached out to them a few weeks ago wondering where it's at, because we issued the permit for the underground boring, and we received the bond payment, everything that we needed, and we haven't heard anything from them. So today, about 3 o'clock, he sent me an email saying, "Good afternoon, sorry for the delay in the project. There was a miscommunication regarding the materials on our end. The construction coordinator thought I had to place the purchase order for the poles and luminaires," this is Brandon Farron, when in fact those materials had already been obtained, so they were confusion on their end. They're hoping to start underground work in the next 2 weeks. So that's kind of where they're at. They had a little confusion on their end, thinking, construction people talking to the other folks, thinking that they were still waiting to get the latest orders and stuff, but in fact, they've been in Mr. Wackles' garage for months. So hopefully, the next couple weeks, the permit's been issued. They'll show up at the contractor, get the boring done on Stanton Street, get the light poles directed. And I think that was part of the reason that it was going to be closed.
I'm glad we heard from them.
Yeah.
Has there been are there any village permits that need to be, nothing outstanding, nothing that's been kind of hanging out there on our
This is
end?
the last, yeah, we had to do a right-of-way permit because they're going to be doing trench and boring underneath the road.
Mhm.
So
Perfect. Okay, any questions from council on that item?
Did they give you a timeline there?
just said in the next, they hope to start next 2 weeks.
And do we know how long after the start time though?
It shouldn't take, they'll probably do all the boring in one day.
Okay.
And then they have to, the wire's already been ran between each pole base. Then it might be, I think it's only 5 light poles, every 6. Yeah, if that. So they have coordinated with Mr. Wackel to make sure that the poles are available, ready, for just around the corner in his building. Perhaps he can get them staged for them or something maybe. So they have to coordinate that.
Okay, great. All right, we'll move on to 9B, the Lakeside Drive School drop-off and pickup vehicle congestion matter.
And council, if you recall, I did have this original packet that went out, but I emailed it to everybody, I think it was yesterday. Mr. Davis looked into this and wrote a memo about traffic control orders.
Yes.
A couple examples. Chief Sewell and I have talked about this. Where's he hiding at? Is he here somewhere? There he is. And, rather than trying to have 20, 30 poles down there, we feel kind of like the signage at the beginning of the entrance to the sub regarding the fire hydrants. It says no parking on the fire hydrant side of the street is adequate for enforcement. And so we had one there, and then as you turn down Lakeside Drive, we could put a sign there for no school drop off. We talked about having one during certain times of the day, and then how that might affect the residents who also will be parking perhaps in their homes at certain times of the day. We figured by addressing the no school drop off, it's just clearer. And we'll go about it that way. That's just an option. And Mr. Davis's memo, you'll see how the traffic control orders eventually have to be approved by council, but we do a temporary one in the meantime, move forward if the council desires to do so.
You basically take the traffic control order as given to you by the wisdom of your chief in this instance, who is your traffic engineer. And then within so many days, you have to ripen that into an ordinance. And you have to effectuate the traffic control order with signage that is clear and understandable to the public as to what your traffic control order is seeking to accomplish. That's, embodied in the law. I was kind of surprised there was a decent amount of law in this. I'm sure you guys were too. But it's in the administrative code, and we located it and gave you a nice little presentation of that for the future. If you ever run into these types of issues again, I'm sure this memo will be applicable.
Yeah. This is great. So there'll be a sign, no school drop-off or pickup, right at the entrance, like you said. And then our Chief Sowell enters the traffic control order without council doing anything necessarily.
Well, you approve the traffic control order.
We do, okay.
He brings it to you. I know the chief will put on rationale for the traffic control order as he normally would. You approve it, and then within, I think it's 90 days thereafter, you have to write them into an ordinance and take actions to effectuate it by way of signing.
Are you saying, I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear, so tonight we can approve the traffic, we need to wait to be presented with the traffic control order?
Temporary, when you could do a temporary one?
Well, you could, I mean,
I guess we don't have the issue yet until school starts.
I think you have time. I'd like your record to go like this. I'd like the chief, who's your traffic engineer and your, kind of your public safety guru in there, to present to you why we need to do this.
Mhm.
He's got his reasons. And then we have a record of that. Then we have the traffic control order. Then we have the ordinance. But the traffic control order can be implemented right away, as soon as you approve it.
That's my concern. I don't want people to start doing that in the new school year and then have to all of a sudden 2 weeks
You
into
want to get this,
school.
if we could have the traffic control order at our next meeting, I think that would be perfect.
We would have to get it in before school started, so, and then we could do, so that would be, so if we approve the traffic control order in August. That way it's in place for when school starts. Then we come back in September and do the ordinance. Okay,
First reading, second reading.
yeah,
Right.
but it'll still have that effect, yeah.
Have the schools discussed sending out a letter to all the parents or in their newsletter saying, hey, don't park here?
We
Don't-
haven't communicated with the schools because we don't want them necessarily to feel it's their burden, right? It's more of a local enforcement issue. Of course, we can make them aware, but that's what's going on, and we'll put that in place. I think you'll find that a large amount of the people doing the drop-off are within the subdivision. Others, I'm sure there's others that come into there as well. But,
But I think they could throw it in their newsletter that they.
yeah, but I spoke to one of the Oxford Lake Association board members too as well. And if this goes in place, then they'll share it in their newsletter. That goes right to those immediate 400 homes in the subdivision.
Right. Councilman Mensch.
I think Mo's right. I think we should let them know because even outside of the stuff, that was
Yeah.
unofficial sports whatnot drop off.
Okay.
So, and then I was gonna ask, what does enforcement look like?
Whenever we start something new or put up a new sign or a new ordinance or a new law, we always like to educate everybody first and warn people before we start handing out citations. So this is gonna be a work in progress. It's not gonna be like, all right, got you today, here we go, we just started this. So we're not gonna do that. We wanna give everybody a fair chance to say, hey, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. So please follow the rule, just to get all that traffic from out of the subdivision and into the line of the school where they should be.
Wonderful. Anything you want to add, Chief?
No, only that the sooner we can do it, the better, so we can do it before the school year starts if we can, so we can start our educational basis on that. And I won't push anything through until after we have talked and educated the people. We will get with the schools and we'll put it on Facebook and we'll put it out there as much as we can, and even the Oxford Leader or OCTV, as many outlets as we can to let everybody know. And we'll work with everybody on it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? I'll move to approve the text as presented and installation of the signage as soon as possible. Prepare any necessary ordinance amendments for the August 13th council meeting.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Cook, seconded by Helmuth. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Motion carries. Okay. All right. Item 10, new business. So first up is the conditional rezoning request for South Washington Triangle, Planning Commission's recommendation. I'm going to move to approve the rezoning as set forth in the contract. Is there a second?
Support for purposes of discussion.
Yep, thank you. Okay, let's have some discussion. Any questions from council to the village manager or? Have you had any?
Mario was going to be here, but his memo that he prepared and everything is in your packet. He's gone through all the various aspects of the zoning, the master plan, and all of those issues that he recommended.
Just from a legal perspective, the Michigan Supreme Court did issue its opinion on conditional rezoning about 12 days ago. And they re-echoed the fact that this is a part of the zoning act where historically applicants would come to communities to rezone property and there would be no discussion on what their intent was to do with that property. You couldn't ask them, you could simply vote on the rezoning. Over the years, they changed to have what became known as conditional rezoning contract, if you will, rezoning, where an applicant can approach a community and say, I'd like to take this property and rezone it to X, and I'm going to place a permitted use in here, and this is exactly what I'm going to do, so you know. And one of the hallmark traits of this program is it's non-negotiable. You don't get into an exchange with the applicant about, well, if you did this, or it's you accept or reject the proposal that is now embodied in the form of a contract. They still have to go to site plan, they still have to do all those other things. But tonight before you is to accept or reject the proposed contract that gives rise to this development under conditional rezoning.
And then if council approves, it would go back to the planning commission
Yep.
for the site plan review and further.
And at that point, they can discuss a lot of different things, but the cornerstone of the program is it's an applicant proposes, and you know, the planning commission makes a recommendation, and then the legislative body, because it's a legislative function, votes on approving or rejecting what the planning commission is recommending.
It's basically amendment of the planning commission to the zoning ordinance.
It's
Right.
amended to the zoning,
Right.
so you have in front of you a proposed contract.
Mhm.
In a sense, we reduced it to a contract, and it incorporates by reference the development that they proposed. And one of the things you should be aware of is that if in the future that this development doesn't happen, or this development ceases to be there, the zoning would go back to the zoning that it was.
Not transferable.
And it's non-transferable, and all the things are in the contract, so.
Great, thank you. And given that information, is there anything council wishes to say?
I've given a lot of thought to this conditional rezoning, and I wasn't able to attend the planning commission meeting, but I did listen to it, and I heard all the public comment and weighed it. Obviously, this is not a simple issue, and as someone said, change is inevitable, but it's not always fun. I do think there's some issues that need to be ironed out in the site plan, but I do trust that the planning commission will iron those out with our fire safety and whatnot, and make sure all those issues are taken care of.
And your planner will obviously be at your planning commission during the site plan.
Okay. Well,
On the planning commission, what kind of changes can be made to the plan? And what are we held to?
You enforce the site plan like you would any other site plan, and you work on the site plan like you would any other site plan, but you cannot change the tenor of the agreement.
Tenor, I love that word.
That's because I couldn't think of anything else. It seemed to make sense when I said it.
I mean, I know.
You just can't change the fundamentals. You can't say, okay, well, you're asked, you know, your proposal was X amount of units. Here we're at site plan, we're gonna cut it in half. You're not gonna do, you can't do that. But can you look at the things that you normally look at under site plan review? Absolutely.
Like radius, for the truck turnaround radius and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, all
They have
that's-
to adhere to those things, and those are normal requirements in site plan review. It's not an apartment complex, so there isn't dumpsters around. Sometimes those come up on commercial developments, this is residential, maybe curbside pickup.
This would be a private street, correct?
If they build it to specs, initially, yeah, it'd be like in a condo association, and they could eventually, like Village Ridge Condos is in the process of come to us and ask to be taken over. But that's a future, whatever.
Okay, but in theory, they're supposed to be 60 foot wide, and I don't think it's 60 feet here.
Oh, no. The ones at Village Ridge Condo weren't that wide, probably either, the one we're waiting on them yet for that.
But when you build a public street, just spec right now, I think the ordinance calls for 60 feet.
Residential streets, I don't think are 60. You mean the right of way and everything, perhaps?
Right.
Surfaces, I believe, what, yeah. Right of ways are a little different than like a condo development.
So would they, in theory, they have village trash pickup?
Yeah, like Verdict Woods Court,
Okay.
condo lane, things like those.
It would be part of your curbside.
Any other questions? Okay, well, does anyone need the motion reread? Roll call vote, please.
Kemp,
Yes.
Nicosia,
No.
Falmouth,
And the next step is planning commission set plan, right? Yes.
Cook,
Yes, motion carries. 10B is the second reading for the ordinance for the sewage and water rate increase by meter size. I'll move to approve the second reading.
Support.
Motion made by Cook, seconded by Kemp. Any discussion on the second reading? Hearing none, roll call vote please.
Plummer,
Yes.
Nicosia,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Cook.
Yes. Motion carries. 10C, the 2024 OMED bond assessment.
Okay, if you recall, we had another bond recently that we opted to pay over the term because of the low interest rate and a payment credit at the end of that law, it's like a 2.5% interest, higher amount. On this one, like I stated in there, it's 4%. It's a relatively small amount, and my recommendation was to let them know that we would wish to pay this one off, prepay this one. Because of the interest rate being higher and the smaller amount of the bond.
Thank you. Council like to make a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to reform Oakland County Water Resource Commission that the Village of Oxford plans to repay the Oakland County Interceptor Drainage District, that's quite a name, Special Assessment Roll No. 1, Drain Bond Series 2024, no later than August 9, 2024, the amount of $66,008.
Can I ask that you approve the resolution 2407, because they're asking for a resolution, just include that in your motion, please.
And to approve Resolution 2427,
07.
2407.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Helen, seconded by Kemp. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call vote please.
Nicosia,
Yes.
Kemp,
Yes.
Talbot,
Yes.
Cook.
Yes. Motion carries. 10D, the special event application for the worship concert in Centennial Park on August 3rd.
Okay, you have an application in your packet. We have received all the required information at the cleaning deposit and full town assurance, proof insurance. It is proposed for August 2nd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Centennial Park. New Wine Ministries out of Waterford.
Great. Is there a motion for this item?
Motion to approve special event application, worship concert, Centennial Park, August 3rd, 2024.
Excuse me, it's August
August
2nd,
2nd.
there was a misprint on that.
August 2nd.
Yeah.
Is that Friday?
Yeah.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Nicosia, seconded by Helen. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay, motion carries. 10E, the tree replacement program discussion.
This is something that councilperson Kemp brought to my attention, sent to me, and wanted to have on for you guys to have some discussion about.
Yes, please.
So, our tree replacement fund is something that we haven't utilized well. The budget line for this year is $1,660. We had taken down a number of trees that needed to come down because they were either dying or they were interfering with infrastructure. This was something that had popped up that I liked how this community had, how they ran their tree planting program for the planting trees in the right of way. So their system was that residents can request a tree to be planted in the right of way. And the DPW and whatnot has a list of trees that are compatible, that work well with the city infrastructure, the underground utilities, that are hopefully native and compatible with the surrounding environment. That way, we can look at what's beneath the surface, plant them in a smart way, while still maintaining our tree-lined streets that have numerous benefits. So I know that fund had been underutilized, so I was hoping that this plan could, bring it to the residents' attention and we could find smart ways to plant the trees.
When we normally use that fund have budget for?
Only for, like when we visit in the park, we use it for that. We don't use it much
Yeah.
to replace
It was
it.
like, we used, I looked back at our budget, we think we used like 150 or 200 of the budget.
So it's just kind of sat there.
Yeah.
Because normally when we're dealing with the trees, they're coming down because of disease, or if they're on the streets, so with the street, local streets or paid, or the major streets fund pays them because it's related to the streets. Every now and then, if it's directly related to a sewer or water problem, then that sewer or water fund would pay the removal of that tree.
Right.
But typically it's street costs.
There are communities that go ahead and insert this into their building requirements, into their ordinance schemes or zoning ordinance.
They do for commercial, yeah, the Nancy boards for commercial stuff, I know, but yeah, not for.
Not necessarily for residential, but it's a good program to keep your tree replacements.
I mean, I don't know if we need to like enforce it and like make it, enforce it on residents who aren't looking for it, but if they are looking to add a tree,
I
then
was
this
saying
is a
that
venue.
in the commercial arena, if you're gonna take down trees, there's, by ordinance, you can actually ask back for more. On private property, it's a little dicey.
So I actually had a village resident come up and ask me this about an hour before the meeting, and I think it's a very valid concern with a lot of folks, because we've been cutting down a lot of trees, but we haven't been putting a lot back up. And I think that it really does help build the village and kind of will drive slower through tree-lined streets, and I think if we get rid of that and all these old trees, the beautiful trees, we're really doing ourselves a disservice. So I like the idea of planning them correctly, right? And matching what is compatible with the area and ecosystem. And it is gonna help out, but like obviously we gotta be concerned about like all the utilities, so.
Especially the overhead, if you work like with rails and trails and things like that, in ITC where they have the power lineways, they have a list of trees that will grow further than like 15 or 20 foot tall. When we have these, 50, 60 foot oaks that are in a 5 foot space between the curb or the street and the sidewalk, and they're just ruining the street, ruining the sidewalk, that's just the wrong tree in the wrong spot.
Right.
So there's ways to do it.
There's plenty of research out there on tree planting.
If you look on the tree maintenance checklist from that same group, it talks about, through the winter months and then the spring months and then mulching and watering and things like that. So, and if a person plants it on their own, then obviously they're probably interested in keeping that water and taking care of themselves too. We've always encouraged them, say, when we take a tree down perhaps in the right of way, between the sidewalk and the street, by all means, they put it on, then we just suggest they put it behind the sidewalk, into the front yard. So it's another 5 or 6 feet back. But we try to minimize the amount of going because it's pretty narrow, some spots, right of way. But if it's in the right of way, it becomes our responsibility when and if it heaves. But if you get the right tree in there, they'll minimize that.
So something important to me is obviously compatible with the utilities in the urban environment. But also I know we have some residents who are master gardeners and may have beneficial suggestions of finding the intersection between compatible with, downtown, sidewalks and utilities and native plants. So hopefully we could reach out and use their knowledge.
You could get all that and have a little section on your website about tree replacement strategies.
Well, and I think what, I was looking specifically at Berkeley. Berkeley had like an application that you could fill out if you were looking to plant a tree. You could fill out, it was like a one-page application, and then they looked at them and moved forward that way.
This is like a rebate, or the village would pay for it?
Well, I didn't go, I looked at their page somewhat and picked around a few spots here and there, but I believe that they were paying the cost of the city was up front. And that's why there was a limited number of trees. So they're budgeting X amount of dollars per year. And that's why they say that they're on a first come, first served basis. There's a limited number available, limited in all caps, right? And they say you got a new tree, it's important to ensure proper care is given to the trees on your property. So there's kind of a two-way bargain there, right? If the village puts $150 into a tree, comes out, gets it planted in, then some of the responsibility then falls on the homeowner to nurture it, and things like that. But typically, they're asking for it, they're going to do so. So we could put together some little more detailed examples. I just This is the first shot. Allison sent to me, we were just put down for, get the brush of an idea, so.
Yeah. But if certain like diameter tree, certain species, and then obviously it'd be approved through our DPW and where they're located, maybe.
And you could even start out, let's say you kind of, one year, you know, recommend the budget a little bit, you find out, maybe there's a time, you can do it right through the winter months, I think, any month end, is it R in it?
ER.
Year?
But it's also appropriate, given all the investment we put into all the new service lines as well too. So I think it kind of goes hand in hand, at least particularly for those properties, so we don't waste that money.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks for bringing this forward.
Yeah, great idea.
So, for the next, what's the plan to make sure this happens? Can we work on something between now and the next meeting and
Yeah.
then kind of like
So
some
get you
more
kind of
detail?
list of the trees, maybe some of those costs, right, so then you have an idea, okay, how big of a step do we want to take this step from?
Mhm.
We can see what other communities are doing this.
Yeah.
Berkeley's pretty good on these things. Birmingham might have a program.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it.
Sounds good. I like that you're putting an application out there too to.
And it may get to where if you get 40 applications, you're only doing 10 of them, well, you draw some names out of a hat or something like that, so.
Try to
Or
do
ready
it
to apply,
equitable,
apply
yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. All right, 10F is the.
I had a note down here under my manager report, I forgot to put that on there. So, Joel Toza here is one of the owners of the Design House, principals of Design House. While he was here, I didn't even think it was on this project here, he was here for a different project. And part of the issue with 18 West over there, we've already done our asbestos survey, right, to remove the asbestos, and Terry's been working with the county to use the CDBG fund. The thought has always been, since I've been here, that that was going to be demoed. At one time, even before I came, OCTV was looking at perhaps moving there and all that stuff, and that's well water under the bridge at this point. And so when Joe was here, I thought, well, if that building gets torn off, you gotta rebuild something on that east end of our building. You have to extend the roof out, you gotta make it look symmetrical to some degree, and you have to have an exact plan, whoever's demoing it, where you stop, and then someone right behind them where they rebuild it. And so when he was here one day, I dragged him over there, I said, look at what we're looking at here, what do you think? And the first thing I think Joe said was, the building's in pretty good shape, are you sure you want to demo it, or why are you demoing it? And I said, well, that was the default position, I guess. So I thought, why wouldn't we want to at least take a look to, if it's gonna cost $100,000 a demo to remove the asbestos, well, it's coming out regardless, take the basement out, it's got a full basement, fill it in, or it's gonna cost $150 to rebuild the thing. We would at least like to present you with that option, I think. To go through the demo process, SHPO gets involved, State Historic Preservation Organization, and a lot of red tape and hoops there because the building's over 50 years old. So I don't know, the cost of buildings, again, what's the use of the building, don't know. The DDA is always growing, they might need more space.
Oh, okay.
But, we just thought, you had an architect who was here, we walked over there, the building structurally, it's fine. The roof is bad, all the HVAC would be redone. The interior's like a rat maze, so it would need to be redone inside, open it up more, right, like today's use would be. So we thought, I think he presented, I didn't have it in for motion tonight, but I just wanted to bring it, that we've had a discussion, he sent me a proposal for like $4,500 to do a review of the building with him himself and the contractors, and to present a plan, like a differential between demo costs and then the design to where the demo contractor would end, and then somebody picked up the refinish and build off the overhang and porch down to match if that was the plan, or and comparison between that cost and what the renovation cost might be.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in rent out costs. I mean, I'd rather see the building stay how it is, especially because it is like.
Yeah, it looked like we lose an arm. It looked like we get an amputated arm if it goes. But
Right.
if you're gonna do that, you have to do your best to make it look like it did.
It would look odd.
It would like.
So it was just a thought, like, what would it take for somebody, an architect actually, when they're not just a contractor, an architect and contractors or someone to say, pick up the ceiling, look around, look what's there, where the walls, where they come out, and give a better idea of A versus B.
Right.
So it was kind of new and there's lots of stuff on the agenda and so I proposal together for this packet for any additions to the motion tonight. But I want to at least get it on, let you know what's on my mind, and I'll work with them if we get approval to go forward.
Where is he from?
Design House.
Design.
Is it Auburn Hills?
Yeah, we're over. Yeah, yeah. it's-
Joe, can we have them look at like potential use cases for the actual use of the building? Maybe we'll-
Well, I guess you'd have to some degree, you have to, if you're going to do an interior build, right? You'd have some, there's some basic, sure, a meeting room perhaps, a couple smaller offices, renovate bathrooms, put out ADA. I don't know if he's more on the real estate end of use things, more of a, he designs it West and design, I'm thinking, but.
I think a common viewer type of style.
Think of design build.
Conference room, people are always meeting areas, type of work. More room for the DDA, whatever.
Don't feed it.
Hey, Joe started
Hey.
it.
They could use more room.
I'm just,
Could we,
They get out the closet they're living in right now.
Yeah.
can we look at, there is no interior door to go through right now, correct?
You, if you
I
go
don't
through our
even know
furnace
the ones
room,
that
if you go through our furnace room, you
You're
can,
right, you're right.
you can get there without going outside.
Is it a
I've never been over there.
logistic?
No.
is it
It's not something you're gonna have
actually
in public use,
feasible?
that's for sure.
it's
Okay.
not pretty.
It's not
In
pretty.
my memory, yeah.
No.
You're not gonna do it dressed.
It's not.
You're not gonna do it dressed in white.
So, yeah, a different layout, different, you know, obviously the entrance on the front. Yes.
Just one, can I ask one thing? Pete was, okay, sorry. Just as an option, just to get your wheels turning. So one thing that Pete just brought up, because we've been talking about economic vitality, is the thought of incubator spaces for businesses downtown where they could rent monthly. And it's something that we've been asked for and that has a lot of success in other DDAs. And that would be a revenue generation for the village or the DDA or however we worked it. But if there was a thought to bring revenue stream, we could 1000% fill with businesses all year long, just as the amount of people who have come to us and asked.
So they have the shared conference room, they kind of just pay for what they want to use, right?
It is, it's those businesses, what we say between like our farmer and vendor market and then actually purchasing a brick and mortar.
Right.
And there's a lot of case studies throughout the country that we've been studying and looking into where this is profitable for the DDAs and the villages.
Yep.
But it's also a way to make sure that you never have empty spaces downtown because you have people that are then ready for the next step. And it's not a large space, so I think you could get a couple in that building, but I think it would be just a neat concept to think about.
That's a great idea.
The one concern, I know when Glenn Tate was here years ago, right when I first came, he was looking at that as well. I think he found a way around it because it's not in the DDA district, but I think it was a way to still make it work. You could fund it even though it wasn't in the district, I think.
Yeah, I would say that in that case, then it would be revenue generation for the village, and we would just work alongside of you because it is bringing us so much value too in the walkability for the businesses. So that's the way I would look at it. It would still set under you.
Yeah, that's right. You may not be able to use DDA funds because it's not in the district, but it doesn't mean you couldn't be there and house with them and work with them and mentor them or whatever.
Exactly,
collaborate with
yes. The
them.
mentorship portion of the incubator space is huge.
So that's kind of where the thought was.
Thanks. So more for us next month, I hear.
Yes.
Great.
Thanks.
Any questions or comments from council before you move on?
Move to adjourn.
I really like all of those ideas. I think like the revenue stream, that potential revenue stream coming in, that's exciting. I also like, for the community, it being a resource that people can come, so we work, come down there and on the internet or come out here and get closer to some of this stuff. I think it would be really good for everybody to bring them together as well. So it's
So Madam President, that's the end of the agenda, right?
Yeah, I think so, because we definitely don't have a clerk treasurer who's retiring or anything, so.
It's not like you have to make a decision on posting a notice for my replacement.
Right. It's painful. 10G. All right, who wants to talk about this one?
Nobody.
Terry's been working diligently about, putting this stuff together. want to present to you guys what we're thinking, and I guess we're looking for a little guidance as to, A, how do you want it to take the lead? Do you want us to go and post it out there? We would need some kind of a salary range that the council is comfortable with.
Yeah.
We'd like some feedback from you guys for that.
I say we go really low, then we're sure to get it.
So, so how the process, what would you guys like to see the process be? Would you like it to be posted and then maybe me and Terry, pare it down to 4 people or 3 people and then bring them to the council meeting, you guys do something like that? Is that what you're thinking? Or you guys want to have a committee that does the reviewing of some applicants perhaps? That works so well.
It doesn't really matter which way we go, it always turns out poorly. It never works. Are we gonna post in the MML?
And that treasurer's association, like Terry said, like the treasurer's, clerks association, whatever.
I reached out to Michigan Municipal League too, just the 1650 project that I was a part of for like women in executive positions, and so I'm waiting to hear back from them because I was in just a group with a lot of really amazing women who are looking for jobs just like this, so hoping that we can make some connections that way too. But yeah, I like the idea of the 3 of you, or at least 2 of you, narrowing it down and bringing, I mean,
Well, there's some
know
obvious
best.
ones, there's some obvious ones that we can, that you get that don't even meet the criteria of the spec sheet. And then we can, would you want this group to do preliminary interviews subject to a final interview by the council as a whole?
I think so. Anybody else?
I'd like to see the resumes first,
Right.
before you
Whittle?
do the before you whittle.
That's
Okay,
good.
so we could take in a whole crop, then we could get to you the information,
Send us everything. We want to see everything that comes in.
our
right?
recommendation on who we think we would
Mhm.
call for an interview, and subject to your additions or deletions.
Mhm.
Just curious, why wouldn't we use a recruiter for getting a position as talented as Terry?
We need a recruiter to get her. It was me.
We just snapped her. I've seen that work, and I've seen it, that no one understands what you need more than you do. And I think a little bit gets lost in the recruiter process. You're the village of Oxford, you have a personality, you have a sense about you, obviously we know our work needs. So it's both the characteristics of the person, I think, and it's the characteristics of their background, their work abilities. So I don't know if recruiters necessarily analyze all that.
Okay. And the listservs for clerks and treasurers and even the MML, they reach a broad area of people, and local is, really important because nobody would have to relocate. Not that somebody wouldn't be willing to, but I think that's the best way to start. And then if you don't get the response you want, you might have to look at something like that, but.
Thank you.
And I think the experience you have in the proposed, your position notice is good because, I think someone obviously, we're not gonna get Terry again, right? And so we may get someone who's just learning, someone who works in local government but isn't a clerk, right? And so that's probably, or maybe someone who is a clerk that wants, or a treasurer who wants to move. You don't really know, but yeah, I don't want to exclude him. I know there's a lot of, I guess what I'm trying to say is I know that there could be a lot of talent that's missed if you narrow it too much. And so someone that has the talent was learned, I think.
Well, in 4 weeks from today is the primary, so maybe some clerks unemployed here in 4 weeks.
Or who are forecasting unemployment.
Yeah, I guess it's good timing with that. Let's get the notice out quick.
So are we just missing the salary range?
I'd have to, I don't know off the top of my head what.
$20.
What Terry's salary is, but obviously that
I think
would.
it's 72. I think
Okay.
Or 74.
That would be high.
No, I meant, she has what yours is currently.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody have any, do we know what the market is?
60 to 80,
60 to 80?
probably.
Wait a second.
No, we're not about March.
I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get to the stay.
Private industry or?
Staying
We're
now.
like, yeah, public, so.
I'll say
I think 175 would do.
In my head, I was thinking like, yeah, 50 to 70, but. I
50
don't-
to 75 or.
Yeah, something like that, but I don't.
So you want to have it dependent on what
I'd
their skill level is, I mean, so,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, obviously you can measure it with experience, but.
If somebody might come in and they deserve the upper end of the scale.
Right.
There is enough research out there where they're gonna be able to go on one of the websites and figure out exactly
Right.
what they should be.
But I think in our posting, we put a salary range, but final salary to be negotiated,
Right.
so we're not locked in.
I see a lot that don't have a salary, it just says based on experience. I mean, I always want to know, like,
Mhm.
before I, take the time, not waste,
Right.
to take the time to apply
No,
something,
no.
like, what's it pay? So it's good to
Right.
put that out there, so.
So do you recommend 55 to 75?
That's what I was thinking,
That sounds good.
because that puts her at the high end,
Right,
and that's what we're shooting for.
right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we shall see.
Okay, so we'll get that process rolling.
Should have somebody here by December meeting.
I'd like to get 2 more audits out of Terry.
Yeah, I'm in audit prep right now.
Well, I'd like to raise the concept that I think you might want to consider, not tonight, but you may have to consider an independent contractor agreement with Terry, maybe based on so many hours. I just did this in another community where she agrees and we agree that she'll be available for, so many hours per month for the first year, to come back and address issues. And I've already talked to Terry about that. She's amenable to that if we can work that out. So that's not before you tonight, but that, just to get thinking about that. So she just doesn't walk out and take all that knowledge with her. We have some access to her.
Yeah, the day the person starts, they go, I'm leaving.
Mhm.
Right.
Not like what you let me to believe when I was getting for a transition.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna pull you off as a recruiter again.
Hey, yeah, it worked good, didn't it?
Yeah.
She
The very
almost
first
left.
day was July
Here's
1st.
your offer.
Here's, they even started the audit.
Oh my gosh. Any other discussion or comments from council on
First day
this?
of the fiscal year. That's the
No,
start.
we've got everything we need.
We got
Great.
Except for all that.
We got a joke to the rest.
All right, 11, there's no items moved from the consent agenda. Second opportunity for public comment. Would anyone like to speak under public comment at this time? Okay, seeing no one moving towards the podium, we'll move on to committee reports. Let's see, Councilperson Borjo with NODA. Does anyone have anything they want to share on NODA? No?
They've been doing work at their office,
Okay.
kicking everyone out so they have space, but
Planning Commission and Cable Commission, Mo?
I've lost complete control of everything. I've been at the meetings. I got nothing.
All right. DDA Executive Director Westbrook, if you don't mind giving an update. Thank you.
Thank you. It feels like we're in the busiest time of the year, but I think I say that every time. We have our market coming up on Thursday. So we're out there chalking off all the spaces and we're up to 30 vendors. And I think that that'll be great for the community just to get local produce and everything local that is handmade and grown right in this area. We had the hardest time finding a farmer this year, so we actually partnered with Farm Girl. I don't know if anybody's familiar, but she didn't have the staff to help, so we actually came alongside her and we'll be running her stand for her so that to make sure that we can bring local produce to this area. And we also had a new grant that is available to small businesses start today through Main Street Oakland County. So we're going to be working with all of the businesses in downtown on match grants up to $2,500. And that's all through the county and funded through them. So we're excited about that. We have our strategic planning coming up. We decided that we needed to kind of do a deep dive into the next 3 to 5 years. So I will personally be inviting all of you, and I know I'm hoping that the village staff will get Joe there, because it's not a golf night, Joe, don't worry. So, but we're excited just to really dig into what the next 3 to 5 years look like in Oxford, and just get fresh ideas from the community and our volunteers and our board of directors. We met with 2 new businesses and helped them secure spaces in downtown. So they'll be opening in the next month. And we also worked with the ice cream shop to do their final, so less than 3 weeks. They're just waiting on our friends at DTE, so they're ready to open their doors, which we're excited about. I wanted to mention Curtis Pagels couldn't be here tonight, but he is the owner of Washington Square, which is the lot that we do all the fun things in. And I just wanted to publicly thank him tonight. Him and his family, unfortunately, were under the weather, but we've hosted over 100 events in the past 2 years in that square. And line dancing tonight that we actually moved over to the dealership because we thought some rain was coming in. But that space is such a great community space. And I don't know about you guys, but when I drive by, I see families there and utilizing it. And I just wanted him to publicly know how grateful we are that he really is just letting us use it. And the village has been so wonderful on the insurance and helping us to be able to keep that space. So thank you guys for that, and thank you, Curtis. We are in the home stretch of finalizing our 501, so we're gonna have a 501 that falls under the DDA to clean up some of our sponsorships and just make sure that we can continue our funding. And so we're going through at the DDA board meeting next week, choosing those board members, so we're excited about that. And then we also had a call with Oakland County today about the e-commerce site and how many of our businesses are really utilizing the site. Even us as the DDA, we're really utilizing it. We're selling all of our series tickets on there. So cornhole that we've sold out of, line dancing, market vendors, and it's been so successful to all of our businesses downtown. So we're just really excited for 3 new businesses to be signing up this week, and that's just a way that we can continue to support. And then we are meeting, cross your fingers, with one business that will be reopening their doors. And we're meeting with them Thursday to try to get their feedback on the ground. So we're just grateful for the partnership with the village, and we just feel like everything's going really well.
Thank you. Leanne Tran.
I was gonna try to make the last meeting, but we were doing DPW interviews and ran along, and then there was like nothing on the agenda, so I wasn't gonna sprint out to a meeting. They were gonna have to be done by coming out there. The last one I was at was a month before, I remember. That was a good meeting.
Good. Okay, manager, staff, and attorney reports. Mr. Miller.
Yeah, so after 26 years, Tom McNeese's last day for DPW was today. His actual last day is Friday, but he took Monday, Thursday, and Friday off. So, but his last day of work was today. So we had a really nice luncheon. Some of our downtown restaurants donated some food for us, and we had a good time, good turnout. It was really nice. Kind of a sad thing to see him go. He's a little trepidatious about himself. A little, you know, he's been coming here for 26 years now. He lives up in the Lapeer area, just west of Lapeer. So he'll be working hopefully closer to home. Kelly's trying to get him his license for driving a trolley, but he's not there yet. He's got a CDL, but not for hauling passengers. They haul snow. So the DPWs are continuing the interviews. I was in on with them for a follow-up interview with the gentleman this morning, right earlier this morning. We have 2, of course, to replace Tom's retirement, and Brett Poltis, who left, young man, about a month and a half ago. So there are currently down to 3 in the DPW right now, and that's it. So when you see them out there working, don't stop talking to them. They're busy. The other thing is, hopefully, we'll have the bids on the agenda for the East Burdick repair that we going with Rowe. The core stamping only took place last weekend, so we were hoping to get that done a week or so beforehand. So Rowe had most of the design done. They just want to get some verifications on the subsoils to get those plans up, get them out, get some bids in, and hopefully have them on the agenda for the August meeting. Speaking of projects, Park Street project is being delayed mostly, exclusively due to Eagle. We submitted our application to them like 4 months ago, and they never even looked at it until about 4 weeks ago. And now all of a sudden they want this, they want that, change this, change that, you know. So it's like, so we've been scrambling all the weekend, and then I was uploading stuff to the Eagle portal like Monday morning, bright and early, to try to get it done. So they were going to start next. See what's today. Initially, we thought we were going to start this week. then we put it off till the 12th. Crossing our fingers, I sent out a letter to all the residents, informing them a little bit more where we're at on the project and how it's gonna unfold to some degree. But hopefully we get everything dialed in with Eagle permit. Nothing large, it's just small things that they're wanting to check this box or redo that. And now they changed the whole uploading portal, so now you gotta upload things again. So hopefully that'll get wrapped up here soon and we can get on going on with that project.
Thank you. Terry?
I think Joe covered about everything.
So as I said, the Michigan Supreme Court timely, ruled on conditional rezoning. You've handled that part of the state law very correctly. And in accordance with their rulings, I can happily report from my personal standpoint, they vacated the Court of Appeals and they vacated the trial court, both who ruled against me. So those, they did vacate both of those opinions in favor of my position. We're still waiting on the Supreme Court's ruling on the Open Meetings Act as it applies to whether or not committees are bound by the Open Meetings Act. I think I argued that about 61 days ago, but we have not received that opinion yet. But I'll let you know when it comes in.
Yeah, that'll be.
Chief Soul.
Okay. Thank you. Chief Sewell, did you want to speak to anything?
Yes, I would.
Thanks. Thanks, Joe.
Good evening again. I gave everybody a flyer for the, we're working with the North Oakland Community Coalition on giving out marijuana lockboxes. No questions asked. This day it's on the 24th from 4:30 to 6:30. They're going to set up a station out here so people can come in and just grab their lockboxes until they're gone. Safety Fuffle will be making another appearance at Conference in the Park a week from this Thursday. Can't wait for that. He's getting geared up for that. He's doing some extra workouts. Now we have a new parking lot. We plan on doing an open house that we're going to start doing annually. So we've got some little bit of house cleaning to do yet before we can do that, but we're looking forward to doing that.
Great.
Are you a little proud of the parking lot?
I'm very proud of this. I just am ecstatic. I just feel really good about it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for those who did get a flyer, I may have to expound on it a little bit.
Yeah.
The marijuana lockboxes are to keep it safe and away from pets and kids both, because this North Oakland Community Coalition, and they see the problems that happen with pets and stuff getting into somebody's marijuana. So they're handing out these lockboxes so those who have that product can keep it safe and away and locked up with animals and kids.
And they reached out to us and they wanted to need to do that. They're doing that in other areas too. So I said, yeah, why not? Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Great, thank you. Council comments? Start with them.
I'm very sorry I didn't make it to Tom's party today. I also didn't send a stripper, and that's probably a good thing. Is the priority trash contract all set?
Yes. You may still see them driving some GFL trucks because they purchased theirs, but it may be a bright yellow truck one of these days.
They're gonna have the right name on the trucks, but they won't be painted right away.
I just want to make sure trash pickup's all set. And
They must have done a good job last week because we didn't hear anything.
Having gone to a lot of the events downtown and seeing the businesses thrive, I would just like to say I'm really excited about the new custard and ice cream place opening up downtown. So I think everybody's excited about it, and it's good to see things moving in the right direction with the businesses down there. And I will also say that we've had a lot of folks from out of town coming in to visit, and just talking with them. They always speak about how unique Oxford is and the setup down here, and how lucky we are to really have something like this in this community. So keep up the good work.
The DDA has done so many wonderful events and spruced up so many things. But also I'd like to thank our office staff and our DPW who do all the behind the scenes work that is not necessarily fun or glamorous or evident to the public. So thank you for the work you do. That makes
That's a good
All right, I will move to adjourn at 8:11.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.